I'm standing in my own driveway, suitcase in hand, staring at moving trucks and strangers carrying my furniture out the front door. My son Derek promised to watch the house during my first real vacation in 15 years. The flight to Hawaii got canceled due to mechanical issues, so I came straight home. Now I'm watching my leather recliner, my late wife's china cabinet, and boxes labeled master bedroom being loaded onto a truck. A realtor I've never met is directing traffic. I pull out my phone and make one call. The moving men don't even look at me as they brush past with my dining room table. It's the same table where Martha and I hosted Thanksgiving for 38 years. The same table where Derek blew out birthday candles as a child. Now it's just inventory to these guys in blue uniforms with Swift Move Solutions printed across their backs. I drop my suitcase on the lawn and march toward the nearest mover, a stocky guy with a clipboard. He's about 40, sunburned neck, looking at me like I'm interrupting his schedule. I need you to stop, I tell him. Right now. Put everything back. He gives me a tired look, the kind that says he's dealt with difficult people before. Sir, we're just doing our job. We got a work order, and everything's legal. Legal? I'm the homeowner. Nobody authorized this. He flips through papers on his clipboard, then hands me a stapled document. Sale contract dated 3 days ago. There's a signature at the bottom that says Grant Patterson. My name. My full legal name. But it's not my signature. I mean, it looks close. Real close. The G has that little flourish I do. The way the two T's connect. Someone studied my handwriting. Practiced it. But I never signed this paper. I've never even seen it before. I didn't sign this, I say, my voice rising. This is fraud. The mover's expression doesn't change. Sir, I understand you're upset, but we got proper documentation. If there's a problem, you need to take it up with the title company or the realtor. We just move stuff. Where's the realtor? He points toward a silver Lexus parked across the street. That's her car. Brenda something. She's inside talking to the buyers. Buyers. My house has buyers. Without my knowledge, without my permission, I storm toward the front door. But before I get there, a woman steps out onto the porch. She's maybe 55. Wearing a navy blazer and too much perfume. Her smile is professional, practiced, completely fake. Mr. Patterson, she says, extending her hand. Brenda Kowalski, I'm so glad you made it back. Your son said you might return early. My son, I repeat, not taking her hand. What exactly did my son tell you? She pulls out her phone, scrolling through messages. Derek contacted me 2 weeks ago. Said you wanted to downsize. Moved to an assisted living community. He had all the proper documentation, a power of attorney giving him authority to handle the sale on your behalf. I'm 63 years old, not 93. I don't need assisted living. I need to know what the hell is happening to my house. Her smile falters just slightly. Mr. Patterson, I assure you everything is in order. Derek was very clear about your wishes. The house is selling for $450,000. Given the current market, that's quite reasonable. Reasonable? I bought this place in 1994 for $180,000. Even accounting for the market, it's worth at least $600,000 now. My neighbor sold his place last year for $580,000, and his doesn't have the finished basement or the new roof I put on 3 years ago. The listing price was what Derek specified, Brenda says, her tone cooling. Perhaps you should discuss this with your son. Oh, I plan to. But first, I want to see this power of attorney. She produces a folder from her car, hands me a notarized document. It looks official. Too official. The notary stamp, the legal language, my signature at the bottom. But I never signed this. I never gave Derek permission to sell my house. I examine it closely. The signature is almost perfect. Whoever forged this really knew what they were doing. This is fake, I tell her. Brenda's expression hardens. Mr. Patterson, I don't appreciate the accusation. I'm a licensed realtor with 18 years of experience. I verified the documentation before proceeding. If you have concerns, you're welcome to contact an attorney. But I have buyers waiting and a closing scheduled for Monday morning at 9 a.m. Monday. 3 days away. Stop the movers, I say. Right now. I can't do that without a court order or proof of fraud. If you interfere with this sale, The buyers can sue for damages. Then call the police. I'm reporting identity theft and fraud. Brenda's smile vanishes entirely. Fine. But you'll be responsible for any delays or financial losses the buyers incur. Neighbors are gathering on the sidewalk now. Mr. Chen from next door, the Johnson family from across the street, old Carol, who's lived here longer than I have. They're watching my life fall apart in real time. I feel exposed, humiliated, angry. The movers keep working. They're professionals. They don't care about domestic drama. My leather recliner goes into the truck, the recliner where I sat with Martha during her last months, where she fell asleep watching old movies, where I've spent 4 years trying to feel close to her again. I pull out my phone and dial Tom Bradley. He's been my lawyer and friend for 30 years, handled my divorce papers when I was young and stupid, wrote Martha's will when she got sick, helped me with every legal document I've needed since 1995. If anyone can fix this, it's Tom. He answers on the second ring. Grant? What's wrong? Tom. I need you at my house immediately. Someone's trying to steal it. What? Derek forged a power of attorney. There are movers here right now. The house is supposed to close Monday morning. I'm 10 minutes away. Don't sign anything. Don't let them take anything else. I'm calling for an emergency injunction right now. But it's 5:30 on a Friday afternoon. The courts are closed. Monday morning feels like a death sentence. By the time Tom arrives in his dusty Honda, half my belongings are loaded. The movers have Martha's china cabinet, the one her grandmother brought from Poland in 1947. They have her garden tools, still in the shed where she left them 4 years ago. They have boxes of photo albums, our wedding pictures, Derek's baby photos. 38 years of memories reduced to inventory numbers on a clipboard. Tom is 68, gray-haired, moves slower than he used to but thinks faster than anyone I know. He examines the power of attorney document, his reading glasses perched on his nose. This is good work, he says quietly. Really good. The notary stamp looks legitimate. The legal language is perfect. If I didn't know you, I'd believe you signed this. But I didn't, Tom. I swear to you, I believe you. But proving fraud quickly enough to stop Monday's closing? That's going to be hard. The courts are closed until Monday morning. We can't get an emergency hearing until then, and by that time, the sale will be done. There has to be something we can do. There is. We find Derek and we make him confess. Derek's apartment is across town in a neighborhood I don't like visiting. The kind of place with broken streetlights and abandoned cars in the parking lot. He moved there 3 years ago after marrying Angela. Said they needed to save money. I offered to help with a down payment on something nicer, but Derek refused. Said he wanted to make it on his own. Tom drives because my hands are shaking too much. I keep replaying the last conversation I had with Derek before leaving for the airport. He'd come over, helped me pack, reminded me to leave my spare key under the garden gnome like always. He'd hugged me, said, "Don't worry, Dad. We'll take care of the house. Have fun in Hawaii." All lies, all manipulation, while planning to steal everything. We pull into Derek's complex at 6:15. The sun is setting, casting long shadows across the cracked pavement. Tom parks near Building C, Unit 212. "Let me do the talking," Tom says. "We need him to confess on record. I'm going to record this conversation on my phone. What if he runs? He won't run from his father. Tom doesn't know Derek the way I do. Or maybe he knows a version of Derek that doesn't exist anymore." We climb 2 flights of exterior stairs. The railing is loose. I can hear a baby crying somewhere, smell someone cooking onions. This is where my son lives. This is what his life has become. Tom knocks. 3 firm raps. Angela answers. She's 29, blonde, pretty in a way that always seemed calculated to me. She's wearing yoga pants and an oversized sweater, her hair in a messy bun. When she sees me, her face goes pale. "Grant," she says, not quite meeting my eyes. "We weren't expecting you. I bet you weren't. Where's Derek?" "He's resting. He hasn't been feeling well. I need to talk to him. Now." She blocks the doorway with her body. "Maybe this isn't a good time. He's really not up for visitors." Tom steps forward, his lawyer voice activating. "Miss, we're here on legal business regarding fraud, forgery, and attempted theft. Derek can speak to us now or speak to the police. His choice. Angela's composure cracks. She looks back over her shoulder, then reluctantly steps aside. The apartment is small. A living room with secondhand furniture, a kitchenette with dishes piled in the sink, a hallway leading to what I assume is the bedroom. It smells like cigarettes and desperation. Derek emerges from the hallway. He looks terrible. Unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, wearing sweatpants and a stained t-shirt. He's 34 years old but looks 50. What happened to the boy who used to build model airplanes with me in the garage? The kid who wanted to be an architect? Dad, he says, and his voice breaks. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Why? I need to know why. He sinks onto the couch, puts his face in his hands. Because I'm drowning. Because I don't have any other choice. Tom sets his phone on the coffee table, recording light blinking. Derek, we need you to explain what's happening. From the beginning. Derek takes a shaky breath. It started 2 years ago. Online poker, just small stakes at first, $50 here and there. I won sometimes. It felt good. Then I started losing. I kept thinking I could win it back. I borrowed money to keep playing. Then I borrowed more. How much? Derek looks up at me, tears streaming down his face. $130,000. The number hits me like a physical blow. $130,000. Who did you borrow from? Not banks. Not legitimate lenders. Loan sharks, Dad. Bad people. Really bad people. Angela is standing in the kitchen doorway, arms crossed, crying silently. They've been threatening me. Derek continues. Threatening Angela. They sent photos of her leaving work. Photos of her at the grocery store. They made it clear that if I don't pay by Wednesday, they'll hurt us. Maybe kill us. So you decided to steal my house? I didn't know what else to do. I've maxed out every credit card. My credit score is 400. Banks won't even talk to me. The house was the only asset I could access. By forging my signature? By committing fraud? Derek stands up, defensive now. What was I supposed to do? Come to you and admit I've ruined my life? That your son is a failure? That these men are going to kill your daughter-in-law unless I pay them? You're damn right you should have come to me. Instead of lying, instead of stealing, instead of selling my home for less than it's worth. I did it for $450,000 because I need to close fast, Derek shouts back. The plan was to pay off the debts, give you $100,000 to start over somewhere smaller, and use the rest to disappear with Angela. Start fresh somewhere they can't find us. Start fresh with stolen money? To stay alive, Dad, Tom interrupts. Derek, these loan sharks. Do you have names? Phone numbers? Any way to contact them? Derek shakes his head. Just a phone number. It's a burner. The guy I talk to calls himself Vic. That's all I know. Have you met him in person? No. Everything's been through phone calls and texts. Tom and I exchange glances. Something doesn't add up. Show me the texts, Tom says. Derek pulls out his phone, hands it to Tom. Tom scrolls through messages, threats, payment demands, photos of Angela. His expression changes as he reads. Grant, Tom says carefully. I need to make a phone call. Excuse me. He steps outside, leaving me alone with Derek and Angela. There's something I haven't told you, Angela says suddenly. Her voice is small, frightened. What? I'm pregnant. 3 months. The world tilts. I'm going to be a grandfather. Under any other circumstances, this would be the best news imaginable. But right now, it's another layer of manipulation, another weight on my chest. Derek, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. Did you really think this would work? That I'd just let my house be sold and accept $100,000? I thought you'd understand once I explained. I thought you'd forgive me, because family is supposed to forgive. He's playing the Martha card. She always believed in forgiveness, in second chances, in family above everything. But Martha isn't here, and even she would draw a line at fraud. Your mother would want me to help you, I say quietly. But not like this. Never like this. Tom returns, his expression grim. Grant, we need to talk. Outside, we step onto the exterior walkway. Below us, the parking lot is filling with evening shadows. I just spoke with a private investigator I use sometimes, Tom says. Carl. I asked him to do a quick check on Derek's situation. Grant, those loan sharks? They might not be real. What? The phone numbers Derek gave me? Burner phones, untraceable. But Carl did some digging. The threatening photos of Angela? The metadata shows they were taken by Angela's phone. I don't understand. Carl pulled Angela's background. She has a criminal record in Nevada. Fraud. 3 counts. She served 2 years probation. Finished in 2020. Grant. She's done this before. Married a man in Reno. Convinced him to liquidate assets for a business opportunity. Then disappeared with the money. No. Derek would know. He'd have found out. Not if she lied about her past. Not if she's been playing him from day one. We go back inside. Derek is on the couch, head in his hands. Angela has moved to the window, staring out at nothing. Derek, Tom says, we need to talk about Angela's background. What about it? Tom pulls out his phone, shows Derek the Nevada court records. 3 counts of fraud, 2 years probation. A previous marriage that ended when she disappeared with her husband's money. Derek stares at the screen. His face goes from confusion to disbelief to horror. Angela, he says quietly. She doesn't turn around. Angela. Is this true? She's silent for a long moment. Then she says, people change. Did you lie about your past? I didn't think it mattered. Derek stands up, moves toward her. Did you lie about the gambling? About the loan sharks? She finally turns to face him. Her expression is cold, nothing like the frightened woman from minutes ago. You're so easy to manipulate, Derek. You always have been. I knew you'd never go along with fraud unless you thought your life was in danger. So I created a threat. The loan sharks aren't real? Oh, they're real. But you don't owe them $130,000. You owe maybe $20,000. The rest of the debt, I made it up. The threatening photos, I took them myself. The texts from Vic, that's my cousin in Las Vegas. Derek staggers backward like he's been hit. Our entire marriage was a job, Angela says flatly. Your dad owns valuable property. You're the weak link. I spent 3 years earning your trust, learning your habits, waiting for the right moment. The gambling was real, but I pushed you toward it. I introduced you to those poker sites. I encouraged you to bet more. I needed you desperate enough to commit fraud. The pregnancy? Derek's voice is barely a whisper. Angela's hand moves to her stomach. That part's real, but it changes nothing. I'm still leaving with the money. What money? There is no money. The sale hasn't closed. She smiles. Not yet, but it will. Because that power of attorney Derek signed, it's legally binding. Even now that you all know the truth, the sale can still go through. The buyers have paid a deposit. The closing is Monday, and I'll be long gone by then. Over my dead body, I say. Angela shrugs. You can try to stop it, but you'll need a court order, and you won't get one before Monday morning. I've timed this perfectly. Tom is already on his phone, calling someone. Derek has collapsed back onto the couch, his entire world shattered. I look at Angela, this woman who planned to destroy my family, and I feel something beyond anger. A cold, clear determination. We'll find a way to stop you, I tell her. Good luck with that, she says, and walks out the door. Saturday morning arrives with cruel sunshine. I haven't slept. I'm sitting at my kitchen table surrounded by papers. Coffee going cold in a mug Martha gave me 20 years ago. It says world's best dad. The irony isn't lost on me. Half my house is still packed in boxes. The movers stopped work Friday night after Tom threatened legal action, but they'll be back Monday morning if we can't stop the sale. My leather recliner sits in the driveway under a tarp. My life is in limbo. Derek is asleep on my couch. He came home with me last night, had nowhere else to go. The apartment was in Angela's name. Everything was in her name. He has nothing except the clothes he wore and a smartphone full of lies. Tom arrives at 7:30 with Carl, the private investigator. Carl is maybe 50, ex-military by the look of him, with gray at his temples and eyes that don't miss anything. We need to talk, Carl says without preamble. About Angela. He spreads documents across my kitchen table. Phone records, financial statements, background checks. Angela and Brenda are sisters, Carl says. Both from Nevada. Both with criminal records. Brenda got her real estate license 3 years ago, right when Angela married Derek. This wasn't opportunistic. It was planned. Planned? They've been setting this up since the beginning. Angela married Derek specifically because you own valuable property. They spent 3 years building trust, creating the perfect scenario to steal your house. I feel sick. Derek's entire marriage was a lie. Every holiday dinner, every family photo, every time Angela called me Dad, it was all part of a con. There's more, Carl continues. I tracked financial records. Angela has been moving money through multiple accounts for years. She's not working alone. This is part of a bigger operation. How much bigger? I found connections to at least 3 other families in Missouri and Kansas. Similar patterns. Women marry men with elderly parents who own property, create crises, use the chaos to commit fraud, always targeting houses, always using forged power of attorney documents. How much have they stolen? Carl pulls out a spreadsheet. Conservative estimate? Over $2 million in the last 5 years. Tom leans back, processing this. We need to contact the FBI. This is organized fraud across state lines. I already did, Carl says. Spoke with a special agent Ramirez this morning. She's been investigating a multi-state fraud ring for 18 months. Our case might be the break they need, but there's a problem. There's always a problem. Even if we prove Angela is part of a criminal conspiracy, your house sale might still go through. The power of attorney is technically valid. Derek signed it, even if he was manipulated into doing it. The buyers have a contract. Unless we can prove the buyers knew about the fraud, they're considered innocent purchasers. Missouri law protects innocent purchasers. So even if we catch Angela, I might lose my house? Possibly. Or you'll keep the house but face a massive lawsuit from the buyers for backing out of a legal contract. How massive? Tom jumps in. The buyers paid a $50,000 deposit. They've arranged financing, given notice on their rental, hired movers, notified their kids' schools. If the sale falls through because of fraud on your end, they can sue for damages. $50,000 deposit, moving costs, temporary housing, emotional distress. We're looking at potentially $200,000. I don't have $200,000. I know, Tom says gently. That's why we need to be very careful about how we proceed. What about Derek? What's his legal exposure? Tom grimaces. He signed the power of attorney. Even though he was manipulated, he still committed fraud by using a forged document. The district attorney could charge him with identity theft, fraud, conspiracy. He's looking at potential prison time. My son could go to prison because his wife manipulated him. The law doesn't care about the reason, only the action. Derek appears in the doorway, looking like death. I heard everything. Dad, I'm sorry. I'll take whatever punishment comes. I deserve it. You deserve a lot of things, I tell him. But prison isn't one of them. Carl's phone buzzes. He checks it, frowns. We've got movement. Angela just withdrew $50,000 from a bank account in her and Derek's names. The account was opened 6 months ago. $50,000? Derek says. What account? I didn't open any account. She must have forged your signature on the bank documents too, Carl says. The $50,000 is the deposit from the buyers. Brenda gave it to Angela yesterday, claiming it was for repairs and closing costs. That money was supposed to go into escrow, Tom says. It was supposed to. Carl agrees. But somehow, Angela got her hands on it. And now it's gone. She cleaned out the account an hour ago. Where is she? Unknown. I'm tracking her credit cards. But she's gone dark. No phone activity since last night. We sit in silence, the magnitude of the disaster settling over us. Angela has disappeared with $50,000. The house sale is still moving forward. Derek faces criminal charges, and I'm potentially liable for hundreds of thousands in damages. My phone rings. Unknown number. I answer anyway. Mr. Patterson? A woman's voice. Professional. Clipped. This is Katie Harrison. My husband and I are the buyers for your house. Yes? We just got a call from our lawyer. He says there might be issues with the sale. Mr. Patterson, we have 2 children. We've been saving for 8 years to buy this house. We gave notice on our rental. Our furniture is in storage. Our kids are supposed to start new schools on Monday. Please tell me this sale is going through. The desperation in her voice mirrors my own. She's a victim too. We all are. Mrs. Harrison, I'm very sorry, but there's been fraud. I never authorized the sale of my house, but we have a contract. We paid $50,000. I understand, and I'm truly sorry, but my son forged documents. The woman who arranged this sale is a criminal. She's disappeared with your deposit. Katie Harrison starts crying. What are we supposed to do? We have nowhere to live. We trusted the realtor. We did everything right. I know. So did I. She hangs up. Tom looks at me. The Harrisons are going to sue. They have no choice. Then I'll lose everything either way. The house, or hundreds of thousands in damages. Unless we find Angela, Carl says. If we can recover the stolen money and prove conspiracy, we might be able to work something out with the Harrisons. But we've got less than 48 hours before Monday's closing. Derek speaks up. I can help. I know Angela's habits, her patterns. I know her sister's information. I can help you find her. Carl nods. Let's get to work. The rest of Saturday is a blur of phone calls, computer searches, dead ends. Carl traces Angela's credit cards to a purchase at a gas station near the Missouri-Kansas border. Then nothing. She's using cash, staying off the grid. By Saturday evening, we're no closer to finding her. Tom is working on an emergency motion to stop Monday's closing, but he's not optimistic. The evidence of fraud is strong, but the timeline is too short. Derek and I sit on my back porch as the sun sets. The yard looks the same as always. Martha's garden, now overgrown. The oak tree we planted when Derek was born. The fence I rebuilt 5 years ago. Everything familiar. Everything at risk. I'm sorry, Dad. Derek says for the 100th time. I destroyed everything. You were manipulated. You made mistakes. But Angela is the one who destroyed things. I should have known. I should have seen the signs. Love makes us blind, I tell him. Your mother always said that. She said love is choosing to see the best in people even when they show you their worst. Derek wipes his eyes. I miss her. I miss who I was before all this. You can be that person again. We'll get through this, but I don't know if I believe my own words. Sunday morning brings worse news. Tom calls at 6 a.m. The Harrisons have filed an emergency motion to compel the sale. Their lawyer is arguing that regardless of Derek's fraud, Angela's disappearance, or my objections, the power of attorney is legally valid, and the sale must proceed. There's a hearing tomorrow morning at 8, 1 hour before the scheduled closing. Tom sounds exhausted. I've prepared our defense, but Grant, you need to understand. The judge might rule against us. The law protects innocent purchasers. The Harrisons did nothing wrong. Neither did I, Tom. I know. But someone has to bear the loss. The judge will have to decide who. That afternoon, Derek insists we meet with the Harrisons, face to face. Tom thinks it's a terrible idea, but I agree to it. We meet at a coffee shop downtown. The Harrisons arrive with their 2 children, a boy about 5 and a girl about 3. Both kids have ice cream, completely unaware that their parents' world is collapsing. Katie Harrison is 32, blonde, exhausted looking. Her husband Pete is maybe 35, wearing work boots and a tool belt. A carpenter, I'll learn later. We sit at an outdoor table while the kids play on a nearby jungle gym. I'm Grant, I say, extending my hand. This is my son, Derek. Pete doesn't shake. He just stares at us with cold anger. Katie does most of the talking. We've been saving for 8 years. We lived in a tiny apartment, worked second jobs, sacrificed everything. This house was supposed to be where we raised our family, where our kids could have a yard, a neighborhood, stability. I understand, I tell her, and I'm truly sorry. But I'm a victim here too. My son's wife manipulated him, forged my signature, stole your deposit. She's the one who hurt both of us. But you're the homeowner, Pete says, his voice hard. Your son, your problem. We have a legal contract. That contract says we own your house as of Monday morning. A contract based on fraud, Derek says. A contract signed by you. Pete shoots back. You signed that power of attorney. You listed the house. You took our money. That makes you responsible. I was lied to. So were we. But the difference is, we did everything right. We worked with a licensed realtor. We got proper inspections. We secured financing. We followed every rule. And now you're telling us it's all gone? Katie is crying again. We have nowhere to go. Our rental lease ends Monday. Our kids' school registration is based on our new address. What are we supposed to tell them? I look at the children on the jungle gym. The little girl is laughing, completely innocent, completely trusting that her parents will take care of everything. Just like Derek used to trust me. I'll make this right, I hear myself say. I don't know how yet, but I will, Pete scoffs. Empty promises don't put a roof over my kids' heads. The meeting ends badly. The Harrisons leave with their crying children. Derek and I sit in silence. We've destroyed another family, Derek says. Angela destroyed them. We're just caught in the wreckage. But that distinction feels hollow. Sunday evening, Tom calls with one last piece of news. Carl found Angela. She bought a plane ticket to the Cayman Islands under her real name. She leaves Wednesday morning from Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Wednesday? That's 3 days after the closing. She's confident the sale will go through. Confident she'll get away with it. Can we stop her? Tom pauses. I've contacted the FBI. Agent Ramirez is working on it. But Grant, even if we arrest Angela, it doesn't solve your immediate problem. The hearing is tomorrow morning. The closing is tomorrow morning. We're out of time. I hang up and look around my house. This place where I brought Martha as a newlywed. Where we raised Derek. Where she died in our bedroom upstairs while I held her hand. Where I've spent 4 years trying to feel close to her again. Tomorrow, I might lose it all. Monday morning arrives too fast. I'm dressed in my only suit, the one I wore to Martha's funeral. Derek is wearing borrowed clothes from Tom's son. We look like defendants, which I suppose we are. The courthouse is downtown, a brick building with too many stairs. Tom meets us in the lobby at 7:30. Remember, he says, let me do the talking. Don't react to anything the other lawyer says. Don't make eye contact with the judge unless she addresses you directly. This is about legal arguments, not emotions, but it's nothing but emotions. How do I separate my fear, my anger, my desperation from the cold legal facts? We enter the courtroom at 7:45. It's smaller than I expected. Oak paneling, fluorescent lights, an American flag in the corner. Judge Patricia Walsh presides. A stern-looking woman in her 60s with gray hair pulled back tight. The Harrisons are already there with their lawyer, a sharp-dressed man in his 40s named Marcus Webb. Katie is crying quietly. Pete looks like he wants to hit someone. All rise. The bailiff announces. We stand. Judge Walsh enters, takes her seat. Be seated. This is an emergency hearing on the matter of Harrison versus Patterson regarding the sale of property at 724 Oakmont Drive. Mr. Webb, you filed the motion. Proceed. Webb stands, all confidence and polish. Your Honor, my clients are innocent victims of fraud who did everything correctly. They worked with a licensed realtor, paid a substantial deposit, secured financing, and relied in good faith on documentation that appeared legitimate. The power of attorney in question was notarized and appeared valid. My clients had no reason to doubt its authenticity. He places documents on the judge's bench. Under Missouri law, innocent purchasers are protected. My clients are entitled to specific performance. The contract must be honored. If Mr. Patterson refuses to sell, my clients are entitled to damages, including their $50,000 deposit, moving expenses, temporary housing costs, and emotional distress. We estimate total damages at $200,000. Judge Walsh reviews the documents. Mr. Bradley, your response. Tom stands. He's wearing an old suit that's seen better days, but his voice is steady and strong. Your Honor, Mr. Patterson is also an innocent victim. He never authorized this sale. The power of attorney was forged by his son, Derek Patterson, who was manipulated by his wife, Angela Patterson, as part of a criminal conspiracy. Tom presents our evidence. The emails between Angela and Brenda, proving premeditation. The Nevada court records showing Angela's criminal history. Carl's investigation connecting them to other fraud cases across multiple states. This isn't a simple contract dispute, Tom continues. This is organized crime. The FBI is currently investigating. Arrests have been made. Mr. Patterson should not be punished for being the victim of a sophisticated fraud operation. Judge Walsh holds up a hand. Mr. Bradley, I see the evidence of fraud, but the legal question remains. Who bears the loss? Your client or the Harrisons? Your Honor, making Mr. Patterson homeless to compensate another victim of the same crime isn't justice. It's simply transferring the injustice from one innocent party to another, and leaving my clients homeless is justice. Webb counters. Someone must bear the consequences of Derek Patterson's actions. Derek signed the power of attorney. Derek listed the house. Derek accepted my client's deposit. The law is clear. Derek had apparent authority to act on his father's behalf. Derek had no authority, Tom says. The document was forged, but my clients didn't know that. Webb shoots back. They acted in good faith. So did Mr. Patterson. The judge's gavel comes down. Enough. I've heard the arguments. She reviews documents for what feels like an eternity. The courtroom is silent, except for the ticking clock on the wall. 8:15, 8:20, 8:25. Finally, Judge Walsh looks up. This is a difficult case. Both parties are victims of fraud perpetrated by a third party. Under normal circumstances, I would rule that the power of attorney is void, and the contract is therefore void. Mr. Patterson would keep his house. Relief floods through me. However, she continues, there's a complication. The Harrisons are also victims who relied on what appeared to be legitimate documentation. They're entitled to protection under Missouri law. I'm issuing a temporary restraining order preventing the sale from proceeding today. However, Mr. Patterson, you will be required to compensate the Harrisons for their actual damages, specifically the return of their $50,000 deposit and reimbursement for moving and temporary housing expenses. I estimate these costs at approximately $85,000 total. My stomach drops. $85,000. I don't have $85,000. Your Honor, Tom says, Mr. Patterson is a retired teacher living on a fixed income. He doesn't have $85,000. Then he'll need to arrange financing or payment terms. But the Harrisons cannot be left to bear the full cost of someone else's crime. What about Angela? Webb asks. She's the one who stole the deposit. If and when law enforcement recovers the stolen funds, they will be distributed to victims. But I cannot delay justice while waiting for an investigation that might take months or years. Judge Walsh signs the order. The sale is halted. Mr. Patterson keeps his house, but he owes the Harrisons $85,000 within 90 days. If payment is not made, the Harrisons can place a lien on the property or force a sale to recover their losses. Court is adjourned. The gavel comes down. Just like that, my fate is sealed. I keep my house but face financial ruin. Outside the courtroom, the Harrisons won't even look at me. Katie is sobbing into Pete's shoulder. Their kids are at school, unaware that they're now effectively homeless. Tom pulls me aside. We can appeal. We can argue that you shouldn't be responsible for Angela's theft and leave the Harrisons with nothing. They're just as much victims as I am. I know. But Grant, $85,000. Where will you get that kind of money? I don't know. Derek is sitting on a bench in the hallway, head in his hands. Tom approaches him. Derek, we need to talk about your situation. The district attorney is reviewing the case. You could be charged with fraud, identity theft, conspiracy. You need separate legal representation. I don't have money for a lawyer. I'll represent you pro bono. But Derek, you need to understand the seriousness of this. You could face prison time. I know. We leave the courthouse in defeat. I've won a battle, but I'm losing the war. Back at home, I sit at Martha's kitchen table and do math. My retirement pension is $2,800 a month. Social Security is another $1,600. Total monthly income, $4,400, minus property taxes, utilities, food, insurance. I have maybe $500 left over each month. To pay $85,000, I'd need to save every spare penny for 14 years. I'm 63 now. That puts me at 77, if I live that long. Or I can take out a home equity loan, assuming any bank will lend to someone my age with my income. The monthly payments would eat half my pension. Or I can sell the house, pay the Harrisons, and start over somewhere smaller. But that means giving up the home I built with Martha. It means letting Angela win. Derek finds me an hour later, staring at the same impossible numbers. Dad, I'll get a job. I'll pay you back every cent. With what? You're about to be charged with fraud. No one's going to hire you. I'll find something. I'll do anything. The doorbell rings. Tom is back, and he has Carl with him. And someone else. A woman in a dark suit with a federal ID badge. Special Agent Ramirez, she introduces herself. FBI, I need to speak with all of you. We gather in my living room. Ramirez sits forward. All business. We arrested Angela this morning at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. She was attempting to board a flight to the Cayman Islands using a fraudulent passport. We also arrested Brenda Kowalski at her home. Both are in federal custody facing multiple charges. That's good news, Tom says. But it doesn't solve Grant's financial problem. Actually, Ramirez says, it might. We seized Angela's assets. Multiple bank accounts, safety deposit boxes, property. Total value recovered so far is $730,000. $730,000? She's been running this con for 12 years across 6 states. We've identified at least 22 victims. The money will be distributed through a victims' compensation fund. Mr. Patterson, as a primary victim, you'll receive compensation for your losses and damages. How much? That depends on how the fund is distributed among all victims. But conservatively, you're looking at recovering your full $85,000 plus legal expenses, possibly more. For the first time in days, I can breathe. There's more, Ramirez continues. Derek, because you were manipulated and defrauded by Angela, and because you're cooperating fully with our investigation, we're recommending the district attorney decline to press charges. You'll need to make formal statements, testify if the case goes to trial, but you won't face criminal prosecution. Derek starts crying. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't thank me. Thank your father for fighting back. If he'd just accepted the sale, we never would have uncovered this operation. Ramirez stands to leave, then turns back. One more thing. We recovered Angela's laptop. The emails we found go back years. She and Brenda planned this from the moment they met you, Derek. They researched your father, studied his finances, calculated the exact value of his house. Every moment of your relationship was calculated. Derek's tears turned to quiet sobs. 3 years of my life. All lies. After Ramirez leaves, Tom, Carl, Derek, and I sit in exhausted silence. You're going to be okay, Tom finally says. The house is safe. The Harrisons will be compensated. Derek won't face charges. You've won, Grant. But it doesn't feel like winning. It feels like surviving. It's Sunday night now, 6 days after I found movers in my driveway. 6 days that feel like 6 years. Derek has moved back into my house temporarily. His apartment is gone. Angela cleaned out their bank accounts. He literally has nothing but the clothes Tom's son donated. We're living like refugees in my own home. Half my belongings still in boxes. My life suspended between before and after. I can't sleep. It's 11 p.m., and I'm going through paperwork at the kitchen table again, trying to make sense of the disaster. Tom says the Victims Fund should distribute money within 3 months. 3 months of living with this weight, this uncertainty, this violation. Something catches my eye on Brenda's business card, still paperclipped to one of the contracts. Her real estate license number. I've looked at this card a dozen times, but now, in my exhaustion, I see something I missed. I go to my laptop, look up the Missouri Real Estate Commission website, type in her license number. The database shows her full legal name, Brenda Marie Kowalski. But there's a note about a previous name, Brenda Marie Hartman. Hartman. Angela's maiden name is Hartman. I remember it from the marriage license Derek showed us. My hands shake as I search for Angela Hartman, Nevada criminal records. The database loads. Angela Rose Hartman, born 1992. Sister, Brenda Marie Hartman, born 1988. They're sisters. I grab my phone, call Carl even though it's almost midnight. He answers on the third ring, groggy. Carl, I need you to check something. Are Angela and Brenda related? I hear rustling, computer keys clicking. Give me a minute. The seconds stretch like hours. You're right, Carl says, suddenly alert. They're sisters. Born in Las Vegas to Patricia and Robert Hartman. Both have juvenile records sealed, but I can see they grew up together, both involved in petty theft as teenagers. Brenda got her real estate license 3 years ago in Missouri, right when Angela married Derek. This wasn't opportunistic. This was planned from the very beginning. Looks that way. Angela married Derek specifically to access your property. They spent 3 years setting this up. I feel sick. 3 years of family dinners, Christmas mornings, birthday celebrations. Every time Angela called me dad, every time she hugged me, every smile was part of a long con. There's more, Carl says. I'm looking at their financial records. They've worked together before. Nevada, Arizona, Kansas, Iowa. Same pattern every time. Angela marries someone with a wealthy parent. Brenda acts as the realtor. They create a crisis, exploit it, steal property or money, disappear. How many victims? At least 20 that I can find. Probably more that haven't been reported. We need to tell Agent Ramirez. I already did. She's expanding the investigation. But Grant, this doesn't change your situation. The house is still safe. The Harrisons will still be compensated. Angela and Brenda are still going to prison. But knowing the full scope of their betrayal makes it worse somehow. Derek didn't just marry a con artist. He married someone who chose him, hunted him, manipulated him as part of a multi-year plan to destroy my family. I hang up with Carl and walk to the living room where Derek is sleeping on the couch. He looks young in his sleep, vulnerable. Still my son, despite everything. I wake him gently. Derek, we need to talk. Over coffee at the kitchen table, I tell him everything. The sisterhood, the planning, the other victims across multiple states. Derek listens in silence, his face going paler with each detail. When I finish, he says, my entire marriage was a lie. Yes, she never loved me. Not even a little bit. No, the pregnancy, probably fake. Or if it's real, just another tool for manipulation. Derek puts his head down on the table and cries. Not quiet tears, but deep, wrenching sobs that shake his whole body. I put my hand on his shoulder and let him grieve the death of his marriage, his trust, his innocence. Hours later, Derek finally stops crying. It's 3 a.m., Monday morning, the day our lives were supposed to end. Instead, we're still here, damaged but breathing. The FBI moved fast, I tell him. They arrested Angela at the airport, arrested Brenda at her home. They seized $730,000 in stolen assets. $730,000 from 12 years of running this con. You weren't her first victim, Derek. You weren't even her 10th. How many? At least 22 that Agent Ramirez knows about. Probably more. Oh my God. The Victims Fund will compensate everyone, including the Harrisons, including me, including you, for your losses. I don't want compensation. I want my life back. I know, son. So do I. We sit in silence as dawn breaks through the kitchen window. A new day, a new week, a chance to rebuild. But the story isn't over. Tom calls at 7 a.m. Grant, there's been a development. We have a court hearing this morning. 10 a.m. Judge Walsh wants to review the criminal findings and determine final disposition of the property dispute. I thought we already settled that. The Harrisons' lawyer filed another motion. Now that Angela's assets have been seized, he's arguing the Harrisons should be compensated immediately from those assets, not wait for a victims' fund distribution. Can he do that? He can argue anything. Whether the judge agrees is another matter. But Grant, we need to be there. Another courtroom. Another round of legal arguments. I'm so tired of fighting. Derek and I arrive at the courthouse at 9:30. The Harrisons are already there. Their 2 children with them this time. The little girl, maybe 3 years old, is playing with a doll. The boy, about 5, is reading a picture book. Katie Harrison sees me, looks away quickly. Pete glares with open hostility. We enter the courtroom at 9:50. Judge Walsh takes her seat at precisely 10 a.m. I've reviewed the FBI's findings, she begins, looking over her reading glasses. The criminal conspiracy is confirmed. Angela Patterson and Brenda Kowalski have been charged with multiple federal crimes. Their assets have been seized. This changes the equation considerably. She looks at the Harrisons. Mr. and Mrs. Harrison, I understand your hardship. You've lost your home, your savings, and your peace of mind through no fault of your own. However, the criminal investigation has identified the actual perpetrators. The seized assets total over $700,000. You will be fully compensated. When? Pete asks, his voice breaking. We've been living in a motel for a week. Our kids are confused and scared. We need our money back now. I understand your frustration, Judge Walsh says. But the victims' fund distribution takes time. Multiple victims across multiple states need compensation. What about him? Pete points at me. He still has his house, his assets. Why should we wait while he keeps everything? Because Mr. Patterson is also a victim, the judge says firmly. He did nothing wrong. His son was manipulated into committing fraud. Should I punish Mr. Patterson for being the victim of the same criminals who hurt you? Someone has to help us, Katie says, crying. We have 2 small children. Judge Walsh looks at me. Mr. Patterson, do you have anything to say? And here it is, the moment of choice. I could walk away. Legally, I've won. The house is mine. The Harrisons will eventually get their money from the victims' fund. I owe them nothing. But I think of those 2 children, the little girl with her doll, the boy with his book. They didn't choose this. They're innocent. I think of Martha. What would she want me to do? Your Honor, I say, standing up. I have a proposal. Everyone in the courtroom turns to look at me. Tom gives me a warning glance, but I ignore it. Your Honor, I continue. The Harrisons are innocent victims. So am I. We're on the same side. We're both fighting against Angela and Brenda, not each other. Judge Walsh leans forward. What are you proposing, Mr. Patterson? I look at the Harrisons. Their exhaustion, their fear, the way Katie is holding her daughter protectively, the way Pete is trying to be strong for his family even though he's clearly breaking. I propose letting the Harrisons stay in my house, I say. The courtroom goes silent. As tenants, I clarify. With a proper lease agreement, 12 months at below market rent. This gives them time to recover financially, find stable housing, get their children settled. Meanwhile, I'll live with my son. We need to rebuild our relationship anyway. Tom stands up. Grant, can we have a moment? No, Tom. I've made my decision. Judge Walsh removes her reading glasses. Mr. Patterson, that's an extraordinarily generous offer. Are you certain? I look at Derek. He's watching me with something like pride in his eyes. For the first time in years, maybe I'm being the father he needs me to be. I'm certain, Your Honor. These people have suffered enough. If I can help, I should. Katie Harrison starts crying again, but this time it's relief, not despair. Pete looks stunned, like he can't process what he's hearing. Mr. and Mrs. Harrison, Judge Walsh says, what do you say to this proposal? Pete finds his voice first. Why would you do this? After everything that's happened? Because it's the right thing to do, I tell him. Because my late wife would want me to. Because those kids deserve a stable home, and I have one to offer. How much rent? Pete asks. Tom jumps in. We'll set it at $1,000 a month. Market rate would be $1,500, but given the circumstances, a reduction seems appropriate. $1,000, I confirm. 12-month lease. You get stability. I get good tenants and income to supplement my pension. Everyone benefits. Katie stands up, walks across the courtroom to me. Before I can react, she hugs me. Thank you, she whispers. Thank you so much. Judge Walsh smiles. The first genuine warmth I've seen from her. Mr. Patterson, your compassion in the face of hardship speaks volumes about your character. I'm approving this arrangement. Mr. Bradley, draft the lease agreement. I want it executed by end of business today. One more thing, Your Honor, I say. When the victim's fund distributes compensation, I request that the Harrisons receive their full $50,000 deposit first, before any other distributions. They have children. They need it most. Noted, Judge Walsh says. I'll forward that recommendation to the FBI. Court is adjourned. Outside, Pete shakes my hand. His grip is firm, his eyes wet. I misjudged you, Mr. Patterson. I thought you were trying to cheat us. I'm sorry. You had every right to be angry. We're all victims here. The kids don't understand the legal details, but they sense their parents' relief. The little girl shows me her doll. Her name is Princess, she announces. That's a beautiful name, I tell her. We're going to have a house, the boy says. Mom said we'll have a yard and I can get a dog. You'll have a very nice yard, I assure him. And there's a park 2 blocks away. We spend the afternoon working out details. Tom drafts the lease. Carl does a background check on the Harrisons, mostly formality, but due diligence matters. By 6 p.m., we're signing papers in Tom's office. The Harrisons can move in this weekend, Tom says. That gives Grant time to move his personal items to Derek's new apartment. Derek's new apartment? Tom slides another document across the table. I found a place near your house. 2-bedroom, month-to-month lease, reasonable rent. I paid first month as a loan. You can pay me back from the victim's fund. I look at Derek. He's been silent through most of this, processing everything. You did that for me? You're going to need a fresh start, Tom says. Both of you. That night, Derek and I pack my essentials. Clothes, toiletries, photos of Martha, a few pieces of furniture. Everything else will stay for the Harrisons. They need it more than I do. Dad, Derek says as we're loading boxes into Tom's borrowed truck. I don't deserve your kindness. Probably not, I agree. But that's the thing about kindness. It's not about deserving. It's about choosing to be better than the circumstances. Martha used to say that, didn't she? All the time. We work in comfortable silence, father and son, rebuilding something that was nearly destroyed. Thursday morning, 5 days after the court hearing, Agent Ramirez calls. Mr. Patterson, we've completed our investigation into Angela and Brenda's operation. The final numbers are significant. We've identified 32 victims across 7 states. Total theft exceeds $4.2 million. $4.2 million? They've been running this con for 14 years, starting when Angela was 18. Brenda was 22. They learned from their father, who ran real estate scams in the 80s and 90s. This was family business, literally. We found training materials, detailed instructions on how to choose marks, create fake identities, forge documents. It was sophisticated and organized. What's their sentence looking like? Both pleaded guilty. Angela got 12 years federal prison. Brenda got 10. They'll serve at least 85% before parole eligibility. Good. Better news for you. The asset distribution is finalized. You're getting $92,000. That covers the Harrisons' compensation, your legal fees, and damages, plus a little extra for pain and suffering. $92,000 feels like winning the lottery. The Harrisons are getting their full $50,000 back, Ramirez continues. Derek is getting $15,000 for his losses. Other victims are being compensated proportionally. Everyone's getting something. Thank you, Agent Ramirez, for everything. Thank your son for keeping documentation. His evidence broke the case wide open. After hanging up, I find Derek in his new apartment, unpacking boxes. We're going to be okay, I tell him. The money's coming through. The Harrisons are compensated. Everything's going to work out. Derek sits on the edge of his second-hand couch. I've been thinking about Angela, about the pregnancy. You should probably assume it's fake. He shakes his head. Agent Ramirez confirmed it. Angela was actually pregnant. 3 months, like she said. My heart sinks. You're going to be a father. Was going to be. Derek corrects. She terminated the pregnancy last week. Ramirez said Angela told them she only got pregnant to manipulate me. Once the con fell apart, she saw no reason to continue. The cruelty of that statement hangs in the air. I'm sorry, son. Don't be. That child would have been raised by a sociopath. Maybe it's better this way. But I can see the grief in his eyes. Another loss. Another betrayal. You'll have a family someday, I tell him. A real one. With someone who actually loves you. Maybe. Or maybe I'm too damaged now. You're not damaged. You're healing. There's a difference. Saturday morning, the Harrisons move into my house. Their furniture from storage, their children's toys, their clothes and books, and all the pieces of a life. I help carry boxes, show Pete where the water shutoff is, explain the quirky garage door opener. Katie makes lunch for everyone. Sandwiches and chips, lemonade for the kids. We eat in the backyard, under the oak tree Derek and I planted 34 years ago. This is a beautiful home, Katie says. We'll take good care of it. I know you will. The little girl, whose name I learn is Emma, asks if she can pick flowers from Martha's garden. I tell her yes. She brings me a handful of overgrown daisies, proud of her contribution. These are beautiful, I tell her. Just beautiful. That night, Derek and I are in his apartment. It's small but clean. We order pizza, watch a baseball game on his second-hand TV. Just father and son, no drama, no crisis. Normal. You did a good thing, Derek says, during the 7th inning stretch, helping the Harrisons. We did a good thing. I correct. You helped too. I ruined everything first, and then you helped fix it. That counts for something. Does it? It does to me. A month passes. Then 2. Derek gets a job at a financial planning firm. Entry-level but honest work. He attends Gamblers Anonymous meetings twice a week. He's 90 days clean, then 120. The Harrisons send photos of Emma and their son Tyler playing in the yard. Tyler got his dog, a rescue mutt named Buddy. Emma started kindergarten. They're thriving. The victim's fund money arrives in October. $92,000, just like Agent Ramirez promised. I pay Tom his legal fees. I pay Derek's first 6 months' rent in advance. I put the rest in savings. For the first time in months, I can breathe without feeling like I'm drowning. 3 months after the movers first appeared in my driveway, I'm having coffee with Tom at a diner downtown. It's early November, the air crisp with approaching winter. How are you doing? Tom asks. Really doing? I'm okay, I tell him. Better than okay. Derek is working steadily, staying clean. The Harrisons are good tenants. The house is safe. I'm rebuilding my life. And emotionally, that's harder to answer. The violation of what Angela and Brenda did, the betrayal, the manipulation, it still stings. Some nights I can't sleep, thinking about how close I came to losing everything. How Derek came within inches of prison. How the Harrisons almost lost their children's stability. But we survived, I finally say. That counts for something. More than something, Tom says. You showed real character through all this. The judge was right about that. My phone buzzes. A text from Agent Ramirez. She's asking if I can speak at a community event next month. Elder fraud prevention. They want victims to share their stories, help other seniors recognize warning signs. I text back. Yes, I'll do it. This happened to me, I tell Tom. But maybe I can stop it from happening to someone else. Martha would be proud of you, Tom says quietly. The mention of her name brings the familiar ache. 4 years since she died, and I still miss her every day. But the grief is gentler now, less sharp, more bittersweet. She always believed in helping people, I say, even when it cost us something. Remember when she volunteered at the food bank every Saturday? Or when she organized fundraisers for families who lost their homes in that flood in 2005? She had the biggest heart of anyone I've ever known. I want to live up to that. To be the man she thought I was. Grant, you already are. That weekend, I'm at the house checking on repairs. Pete is in the garage, organizing tools. We've developed an easy relationship, landlord and tenant, but also something like friends. Your hot water heater is making noise, Pete says. I took a look. It's 20 years old, probably needs replacing soon. How much is that going to run? Pete shrugs. Maybe $1,200 installed. But I can do the work if you buy the unit. Save you the labor costs. You don't have to do that. I want to. You've done a lot for us. Let me do something for you. Katie calls from inside. Mr. Patterson, come see what Emma made in art class. I follow her voice to the kitchen. Emma is standing proudly next to a drawing taped to the refrigerator. It's a house with 4 stick figures in front. A man, A woman, a boy, a girl. That's my family, Emma announces. And that's our house. It's wonderful, I tell her. She made one for you too, Katie says, handing me another drawing. Same house, but this one has 2 stick figures. One tall, one medium height, both smiling. That's you and Derek, Emma explains. Because it's your house too, your family. Something breaks open in my chest. This child, this innocent, generous child, has included me in her definition of family. After everything that happened, after all the ugliness and betrayal, there's still this kindness, connection, hope. Thank you, Emma, I managed to say around the lump in my throat. I'll treasure this. I drive to Derek's apartment, Emma's drawing carefully placed on the passenger seat. He's home, studying for a certification exam for his job. Look what Emma made, I tell him, showing the picture. Derek studies it, a soft smile on his face. We're in her family now. Apparently so. That's nice, he says quietly. Really nice. How's the studying going? Good. If I pass this exam, I'll get a promotion. More money, more responsibility. You'll pass. You're smart when you apply yourself. I wasted so many years, Dad. Gambling, making bad decisions, trusting the wrong person. But you're making good decisions now. That's what matters. Derek sets down his textbook. Can I ask you something? Anything. Why did you forgive me? After everything I did, after I nearly destroyed your life, why did you give me another chance? I sit down on his second-hand couch, choosing my words carefully. Because you're my son. Because people make mistakes. Because your mother taught me that love isn't about perfection. It's about showing up even when things are hard. But I betrayed you. You were betrayed first. By Angela. By your own judgment. By desperation. Yes, you made terrible choices. But you're taking responsibility. You're doing the work to change. That deserves recognition. I don't know if I'll ever forgive myself. Then let me forgive you enough for both of us. Eventually, you'll catch up. Derek hugs me. Something he hasn't done since he was a teenager. We stay like that for a long moment. Father and son, rebuilding what was nearly destroyed. December arrives. Holiday season. The first Christmas without the weight of crisis hanging over us. Katie invites Derek and me to Christmas dinner at the house. My house. Their house. Our house. The boundaries are fluid now. Comfortable. We gather around the dining room table, the same one the movers almost took. Tom joins us, and Carl, and even Agent Ramirez, who's become something like a friend through this process. Tyler says grace, a simple child's prayer. Thank you for this food. Thank you for our family. Thank you for Mr. Grant and Derek. Amen. Amen. We hecho. The conversation flows easily. Tom tells stories about cases he's worked on. Carl shares tales from his military days. Ramirez updates us on the Angela and Brenda case. They're both in federal prison, serving their sentences. Most of the other victims have received compensation. The fraud ring is dismantled. It's over, Ramirez says. You all can finally move forward. After dinner, the kids open presents. Derek gives Tyler a model airplane kit, something I used to do with Derek when he was young. The gesture isn't lost on me. Later, when it's just Derek and me cleaning up in the kitchen, he says, "This is a good Christmas. The best one in years." I agree. I'm grateful, Dad, for everything, for not giving up on me, for showing me what real character looks like. You're going to be fine, Derek. Better than fine. I hope so. I know so. Winter turns to spring. The Harrisons' lease will be up in a few months, but they've asked about renewing. They love the neighborhood, the schools, the house. I'm happy to extend the lease. The rental income helps, and they're wonderful tenants. Derek gets his promotion. He's also started dating someone, a woman named Sarah he met through work. She's kind, genuine, works as a nurse. They're taking things slow, which is good. Derek needs slow. I'm volunteering regularly now, speaking at community centers about elder fraud, helping seniors recognize warning signs, sharing my story so others don't have to live through the same nightmare. At one event, an elderly woman approaches me afterward. "Thank you for sharing," she says. My daughter has been pressuring me to sign over power of attorney. After hearing your story, I'm going to talk to a lawyer first. That's exactly right, I tell her. Always get independent legal advice. Always verify. Trust, but verify. She hugs me. You probably saved me from making a terrible mistake. That makes it all worth it. The pain, the fear, the violation. If my story protects even one person, Angela and Brenda's evil has been transformed into something good. June arrives. A year since the movers appeared in my driveway. A year since my life nearly fell apart. Derek and I are having dinner at a restaurant downtown, celebrating his 1-year anniversary of being gambling-free. He's wearing a suit he bought with his own money from his new job. He looks healthy, confident, rebuilt. To second chances, I say, raising my glass. To fathers who don't give up. Derek counters. We clink glasses. Water for him, since he's avoiding all addictive substances. Iced tea for me. I've been thinking, Derek says, about apologizing properly, not just with words but with actions. I want to pay you back every dollar you lost because of me. Derek, the Victims Fund already did that. Not everything. Your time, your stress, your peace of mind. I can't put a dollar amount on that, but I can try to make amends. I'm setting up a payment plan, $50 a month into a savings account in your name. You don't have to do that. I know. But I want to. I need to. I reach across the table, put my hand over his. You already paid me back by becoming the man your mother hoped you'd be. Derek's eyes fill with tears. I miss her. Me too. Every day. But I think she'd be proud of us. Of how we got through this. I know she would. Later that night, I'm alone in Derek's apartment. He's out with Sarah, and I'm house-sitting, watering his plants, feeding his new goldfish named Hope. I find myself looking at photos on his bookshelf. Pictures of Martha, young and beautiful. Pictures of Derek as a child. Pictures of our family before everything fell apart. And new pictures too. Derek and me at his apartment. Derek and Sarah at a baseball game. The Harrisons and their kids in front of the house. Emma's drawing of our extended family. We've built something new from the ruins of what was destroyed. Not the same as before, but maybe something better. Something earned through hardship and choice and forgiveness. My phone rings. Judge Walsh. She's called a few times over the months, checking in, offering guidance. We've developed a friendship, bonded by the shared experience of that awful, beautiful courtroom decision. Grant, she says, I wanted you to know something. The Harrisons came to see me today. Is everything okay? More than okay. They've saved enough money to make an offer on a house in their children's school district. They'll be moving out at the end of the lease. That's wonderful news. It is. But they wanted me to know that your generosity gave them the stability they needed to rebuild. They said if you hadn't helped them, they would have fallen into debt, probably lost custody of their children to family services because of homelessness. You saved their family, Grant. They saved themselves. I just provided a house. Don't minimize what you did. In the face of your own crisis, you chose compassion. That's rare. That's special. After we hang up, I sit in the quiet apartment and think about choices. Angela and Brenda chose greed and cruelty. Derek initially chose desperation and deception. The Harrisons chose to fight for their family. I chose forgiveness and generosity. Every choice created consequences, rippled outward, touched other lives. Some destroyed, some healed, some transformed. I chose transformation, looking back on everything that happened, the terror and violation and loss. I can finally see what I gained. I got my son back. I found purpose in helping others. I learned that home isn't just a building. It's the people you choose to protect and love. Angela tried to steal my house, but she accidentally gave me something more valuable. She gave me clarity about what really matters. She reminded me that I'm stronger than I thought. She showed me that choosing kindness, even when you're hurt, is the truest form of victory. My late wife Martha spent her life believing in the goodness of people, in second chances, in grace. For 4 years after she died, I lost touch with those beliefs. I retreated into grief and isolation, protecting what little I had left. But this crisis dragged me back into life. It forced me to fight, to choose, to love even when loving was hard. Martha would have wanted me to help Derek, despite his betrayal. She would have wanted me to help the Harrisons despite my own losses. She would have wanted me to transform pain into purpose. I finally understand what she tried to teach me all those years. There's nothing we can't rebuild together. Family isn't about blood or houses or money. It's about showing up when things are hard. It's about choosing love even when you're hurt. It's about forgiveness, not because people deserve it, but because carrying anger is too heavy a burden. Derek betrayed me, but he was hurting too. We both learned something valuable. There's no wound so deep that it can't heal with time and effort and grace. No relationship so broken that it can't be rebuilt with honesty and commitment. I spent 4 years after Martha died just existing, afraid of losing what little I had left. But when I had to fight for my home, I remembered what home really means. It's not the building. It's the people. It's the love. It's the choice to build something good from the wreckage of something terrible. Angela took a lot from me, but she couldn't take what really mattered. She couldn't take my relationship with my son. She couldn't take my ability to choose kindness. She couldn't take the lessons Martha taught me about love and grace and second chances. In the end, I didn't just survive. I won. Not because I kept my house, though I did. Not because Angela went to prison, though she did. I won because I chose to become better instead of bitter. I chose to help instead of hurt. I chose to love instead of abandon. That's the real victory. That's what Angela could never touch. That's what makes all the pain worthwhile. I look at Emma's drawing one more time. 2 stick figures, both smiling, in front of a house. Me and Derek. Family. Together. Healing. A year ago, movers were carrying my life away in boxes. Today, I'm building a new life. One choice at a time. One act of kindness at a time. One moment of grace at a time. And that, more than any house or any amount of money, is what home really means. Now, I want to ask you something. Have you ever faced a situation where someone you trusted betrayed you? How did you choose to respond? Did you choose anger or forgiveness? Did you let the betrayal define you? Or did you use it to become stronger? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else who's going through something similar. And if this story touched you, if it reminded you of the power of forgiveness and second chances, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. We all face betrayals in life. We all experience pain. But we also all have the power to choose how we respond. Choose wisely. Choose kindness. Choose to rebuild rather than retreat. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it brings you comfort, hope, and the courage to face whatever challenges you're dealing with. Remember that every ending is also a beginning, and that the darkest moments often come right before the dawn. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and never underestimate the power of a second chance.